Alright, guys. We are here with the winners match of the Group B of the Last Chance tournament. And we have the monster, the beast, potentially and probably the favorite to win the entire tournament. Up here in the top right side, it is none other than MARU. Already sending 2 SCVs out very early against his opponent, who has just taken down a very powerful opponent to make it to this winners match in the group. If he wins this, he goes through to that top 8 bracket. It's HEROMARINE. Now, Big Gabe hailing from Germany, a very defensive, straight-up player. A player who honestly has gone from strength to strength. It's been such a slow evolution of his power up to that next level where he's gotten to where he is now, to the point where he can take down the very best in the game. But this matchup, this specific matchup, we've talked about HEROMARINE getting to new heights, Clem getting to new heights. And what happens when they run into MARU? Well, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't watched the last year of StarCraft, MARU literally says, what? Come on, son, you don't want to fight me. And they're like, bring it on, Daddy MARU. And he literally just picks them up by the scruff of the neck, throws them against a wall, and breaks all their bones effortlessly. Like, it has literally been so one-sided. I mean, there was last time in a big match where MARU and HEROMARINE played, I think it was maybe Season 1, 2021 season finals, if memory serves. I can't really recall the exact one. The last time I remember them playing a big profile match, and maybe there's been one since then, but there was one game, HEROMARINE got so far ahead, and I literally was like, look, coming back from here would just be insane. Like, it's so far behind as MARU. It's practically impossible. And what did MARU do? He ran circles around HEROMARINE, outplayed him, and absolutely smushed him into the ground. And it was like, oh shit, dude. I don't think you stand a chance. Like that's crazy. In the final game of that series, HEROMARINE went a bit more aggressive, and he didn't even fight. He literally just couldn't find an angle to attack because MARU's positioning was so good, and HEROMARINE rage quit. And like, he literally didn't even lose his army. He just took a few tank volleys and just GG'd and left. It was the most one-sided finish to a TvT series ever, where you could tell HEROMARINE was defeated before it got started. Let's see if he can change that story. It is not starting well because he's not scouted, and he's tried to do a greedy 1-Rax expand, and he's been completely countered here. A Reaper and a Marine up against 2-Rax Marine production. MARU already picking off multiple SCVs, SCV and a Marine, and forcing the command center to cancel. This is a bit of a disaster for HEROMARINE. This is exactly what MARU wanted to be playing against. Forcing double bunker as well. He already saw one. Look at this. Great positioning by HEROMARINE so far. MARU's going for the factory behind it. He's got a lot of gas income, and he's floating a barracks forward as well. Still building Reapers out of one of these barracks. Now, those bunkers do cover every single entrance point, so MARU's not going to be able to get in there, and I think he just turns around and runs away. Indeed, he does. Doesn't lose any Reapers, and from here, he says, that's fine, I've got a contain on. My command center goes down same time as yours, but yours is going to have to float down. My factory's not far behind. I've been mining 2 gases earlier than you. So this is just a great situation in that regard. Now, on the other hand, keep in mind, 2 SCV advantage. Why is there a 2 SCV advantage? MARU proxied his 2 barracks. He's got to float one home. This one. The other one he's just going to sacrifice for scouting. But this is a big investment, and it does mean he's down a few SCVs because he, early on, I believe it was probably 16 racks is what I would have guessed. Maybe, actually, knowing MARU, probably 15. So what you normally do is you don't skip any SCVs. So HEROMARINE would have gone 16 barracks, 16 gas, 20 command center. Oh, whoa! MARU, mad lad, goes in, dives on the Hellion. He only loses a single Reaper for it. And look at that, now we can focus these units down. Oh, he gets another SCV. This could be problems. 2 Marines do come forward. The Reaper trying to help out, but great micro by MARU. And MARU killing almost all these Marines. The Cyclone's here, though, and that's going to punish this. Finally does take it down. But look at that command center delay. And overall, units lost tab. I think that's an okay trade. You've just got to keep in mind he's a little light on the units behind this because that barracks still not home. And that's one of the weaknesses in the follow-up. But having killed all the Marines, you got to say, hey, where's the unit advantage for HEROMARINE? Yes, he has the reactor already built, so his barracks will add those Marines quicker. But that in itself is not that massive a lead. The barracks could have gone further south here, I believe, for MARU. I don't think that's right up against the edge of the map, but now it's on fire, so it will burn down. Starport starts Raven production for MARU and a 3rd command center. So I still love MARU's position here. HEROMARINE, though, honestly, I'm just impressed that he survived. When someone comes in with 2 Reapers, you've only got a Reaper, and then your Marine pops out mid-battle. It's really hard, but you could see the way he quickly pulled SCVs onto his ramp. The barracks sees the starport landing on the tech lab. But yeah, he basically said, look, you have to run on the ramp to get high ground vision. I'll fight with SCVs to buffer my Reaper, my Marine behind it. It was very good crisis management for HEROMARINE, who played a really greedy build. Could have lost a huge amount of momentum and been way behind, but you know what? I mean, his third command center is slightly ahead, even. Sends a Marine scout out. Cyclones say, no vision for you, dickhead. That was HEROMARINE's first attempt to scout in this game, guys. Other than seeing the barracks, he just tried to send a Marine out, and that was it. So he's so blind right now. And MARU is the one who's building tanks, building Marines. He's got 4 gases up. Nice and early, even before second and third barracks. So he wants to keep up. I think he might even go triple Raven with that sort of commitment to the gas. HEROMARINE also going 4 gas. And yeah, this feels like it's going to balance out. I mean, MARU's up 4 workers. I give him a slight lead. You can compare Raven energy as a nice way to do that. Oh, he's 16 Raven energy ahead. But HEROMARINE, you know what? He's weathered the early game storm. I think there's a big problem that awaits him, though, and that is the fact that MARU is the best late game player in the world. I always talk about how HEROMARINE, as opposed to a Clem, focuses more on optimizing his builds, not just in the first 5 or 10 minutes where Clem's very tight. You'll notice Clem just attacks and micros his way to victory, and he has very flexible set pieces of his macro that he kind of throws together based on how the game's going, right? HEROMARINE, it feels like he's got every second optimized, more innovation style, right through to the 15-minute mark. And that's what gives him an advantage in the late game. He's one of the best tank, Viking, Raven pushing players, like lots of tech units. HEROMARINE used to be the best kind of slow late game player in TvT. MARU can laugh at that though and say, actually, I'm the best in the world at that. You might be the best in Europe at that, or one of the best in the world. I am the best. I am the gold standard for late game TvT. And most people, when they run into MARU, if he decides to play late game, they just can't find an opening. He's so good at understanding when his opponent's overeager to do damage, and he just deflects them. He's so good at making these comebacks. And I gotta say, it's a monumental uphill battle psychologically for HEROMARINE just to find a way in, because MARU is great with his early game aggression. I would say his mid game is not that fantastic. Honestly, I keep saying this. It's still top tier, definitely top 10 Terran players in the mid game, but his late game is unparalleled. Nice scan here. HEROMARINE doesn't know he's here. He finally spots it. And the Ravens, he says, I don't want to commit to the fight. Let's just do some auto turret harass and back out of this one. Very cute. 5 SCVs go down. He's going to focus the supply drop depot, hoping to burn that one down. Not going to set it on fire, though. And a single Marine here. He's going to see a sensor tower going down on that third base. Both players scanning each other to try and track the army movements. HEROMARINE still very light on that scouting. 1-1 upgrades right now. 50 seconds up against 50 seconds. So, perfectly tied up. Stim. Maybe, 15-second lead here from MARU as he drops this 4th and 5th barracks down, getting that full 5 barracks, 1 factory production up. Good 10 worker lead for MARU. Definitely going to help him out. It shows he's been just a little bit cleaner with that consistent SCV production, and that's usually what happens when one guy can see the entire map. He feels a bit more confident just tunnel visioning on his, well, not tunnel visioning, but optimizing his macro and hitting it perfectly. HEROMARINE finally gets some map vision with his Cyclones. Oh, good scan for MARU. You don't want to go into that, buddy. 2 full energy Ravens for HEROMARINE. MARU, nice hot pickups to stop those Cyclone attacks from doing that. HEROMARINE's still looking for a fight right now. HEROMARINE's up a couple army supply. Yes, he was a little slower on his worker production, but that's because he was hitting his Marine production and everything else. Neither side has combat shields, guys. Combat shields has also not started for HEROMARINE. He's posturing, but he does not want to overcommit. Whoever takes the first tank volley to the face is probably going to get wiped in this next battle because the numbers are just so damn close. 1 more tank for MARU, 7 more Marines for HEROMARINE. And HEROMARINE's 4th and 5th barracks coming down just a little bit later, about 45 seconds, maybe 30 seconds behind MARU. Gases are up on both players' thirds. MARU's 4th base is already halfway done. The modern TvT meta is, hey, 5 barracks, a factory, a starport's going to get me very far in this game. I don't really need to do much more than that. And oh, look at that! Oh! HEROMARINE saves his 2 Cyclones from the enemy Cyclones, but he's getting hunted down a little bit here by the enemy move forward. It is, of course, just a roaming squad for MARU. This is not a huge commitment. HEROMARINE catches him not looking for a moment, gets one of those Cyclones in return. Cyclones, a very cute unit, but as the game goes on, players tend to not bother repairing them or microing them too much because their damage output is just so low it's more important to put your focus into managing your Marines, your tanks, your bio, getting those units that are actually going to win the game with forward pushes. Factory, second factory is up. It's going down in the tech lab for MARU. MARU's got his 2-2 up about 45 seconds ahead as well. Still no second factory here for HEROMARINE. He's just trailing in every regard by somewhere between 30 seconds and a minute. His own shields is finished. He will run away. Nice push on the right side, but the command center is not exposed just yet. Cyclones and tanks gonna deflect that army for now. So this is a nice containing sort of pressure for MARU, isn't it? Interesting. He's going to go for interference matrices. MARU trying to shove forwards. Oh, and an anti-armor missile, but look at the flank. Oh, quad cuck matrices from the rear. I didn't even notice those Ravens coming in on the flank. He shuts down all of MARU's tanks. And I was saying, hey, this is a bit ambitious because that was only part of his army. He didn't even bring his Vikings, which is why I was surprised he pushed in. He saw an opening, he took it, but HEROMARINE shut him down and punished him hard for that. And now HEROMARINE's the one who's saying, hey, I'm going to push your fourth base. Yeah, you got 2 tanks, 3 tanks. That's fine. I'm going to push into it. I don't know if I like the angle, but it looks like, yeah, both sides trade volleys on the Marines. And the Vikings win the fight there for MARU. Now, MARU's command center, of course, just going to get sieged because there's just too many tanks for HEROMARINE. HEROMARINE's got his tanks sieged up. He can kind of shove into this army and deny this location. Very well done by HEROMARINE. He's remembering his second factory behind it. He's adding his vehicle weapon upgrades. Of course, that's already done for MARU. MARU's going to start 2 starports. Now, I don't know if I like that. So he's back to 3 base. He doesn't have a big gas bank, and he's already thinking about a Raven transition, guys. I think this is MARU saying, shit, I lost the mid game. Let's go late game. But I don't think he's going to be able to afford production off that immediately. Maybe he will. He is, of course, just producing tanks. He's got to get that tank count back up. He's down 5 siege tanks. And whoa, HEROMARINE on the left side with a double drop comes on in, gets a command center that's building and a few SCVs. And at the same time, he shoves forward on the right. HEROMARINE out positioning MARU. Like I said, MARU's trying to just turtle up and force his way to the late game. But HEROMARINE's finding openings. A full medevac does go down on that left side. 14 SCVs have fallen. The tanks are in range of the third. MARU. Oh no, this is a disaster for MARU, giving up ground, and honestly, I'm shocked. HEROMARINE is just playing a cool, calm, collected game, and I talked about the psychological stress of trying to match up against MARU. HEROMARINE doesn't show any signs of feeling that. I think he's realizing I can stress out all day. That's not going to win me the game. And oh my god, MARU, not even watching for the Doom drop. That's GG. That's GG. MARU, I think he's the one who's a little bit triggered right now with what's happened in the last few minutes of this game. To not be watching for a Doom drop when there are armies right there, a massive mistake. HEROMARINE shoves the left at the same time. The main base, he's going to try and Doom drop, but there's plenty of Marines in there. This is not going to work out for MARU. He's going to take a terrible trade. He does drop some auto turrets to help out. He finally cleans it up, but at the same time, 40 SCVs have gone down. Loses his planetary on the 4th. He's re-landed a 3rd base, but he is bleeding, he's bruised, he's battered, and it's still equal army supply, and HEROMARINE still has the tank lead, 5 versus 3, 80 SCVs versus 33. A supply lead that is purely workers at this point, and that means every second that goes by, HEROMARINE can replenish his units so darned quickly, MARU cannot. These Marines looking to backstab, he says, oh, do you want to push me? MARU desperately trying to take one big fight on the offense. He says, well, we've probably got similar army size right now. If I can win a fight on the front, who cares about that economy difference? But HEROMARINE, he's pulling back. He's biding his time. I like the Marine run by. MARU, though, watching for it. Does have a siege tank there. But only one. Not much Marine rally to back it up. That tank's going to siege. It'll go down as well if HEROMARINE decides to press. On the front, desperate last-ditch effort for MARU. He's got to shove in. But his Marines are eating massive tank volleys there. He's going to try and Doom drop the main base. Wait, no, he's going to drop on the tanks. That ain't going to work. Oh! One full medevac gets snapped before he turns around. I think he thought that HEROMARINE was sending his Marines across the map. MARU had his natural breach behind it, and HEROMARINE is going to take game 1. And the beginnings of a big upset right here. All right, what the hell, man? What the heck? That was a way to kick off the series, wasn't it? He got rushed, was doing the greediest possible build, defended it about as fantastically and calmly as he could have, and then just navigated his way through that game. Pounced the moment his opponent made that mistake and overcommitted to his side of the map. He caught those tanks out and punished it. Big Gabe, 1 game away from going out 1st place in Group B. MARU, no doubt frustrated with himself, played a very good game up until he exposed those 4 siege tanks. I do still think he could have maybe defended that base on the right side. Was just a little too slow to get his siege tanks in position. This is MARU. Obviously, MARU, I believe, is playing for Dragon Phoenix Gaming. They really need to get that clan tag up on NA, where most of these games are played. Of course, European versus Korean. Got to play on that that middle server. No, Team Envy. Sorry, guys. I apologize. Team Envy. Of course, he's Team Envy. Had a bit of a mental blank there. Team Envy and DPG, the two leading teams in Korea right now. Double gas opening for both sides. MARU is going to be pulling onto gas a little awkwardly there. It was a little slow, a little last minute, the way he did that. But you'll notice he did pull off his middle mineral patches, not these closer ones. So good optimization there. That SCV goes walkabout though. Second depot goes down immediately. MARU going to scout again. HEROMARINE after game 1 doesn't feel any need to scout in this series. He's like, dude, you can't kill me when I'm doing a 1-Rax expand. You definitely can't kill me when I'm getting a nice quick factory in. Doesn't even bother denying the scout. Lets him see the factory. Whereas if HEROMARINE scouted, he would have been blocked and he would not know that it's a factory. So MARU just having the spawn advantage where he can still have the barracks in the wall and close off the scouting. HEROMARINE with a slight disadvantage there, but HEROMARINE's workers spawned closer to the minerals. MARU spawned further away. And that's about as much random chance and advantage and disadvantage you get in StarCraft, guys. That's it. That's it for the rest of this series, essentially. One player started with 6 more minerals, and HEROMARINE, if he wanted to block the scout, would have had to build the barracks there and then lift it and delay his reactor by about 5 seconds later on. Very little difference between the two. And Hellions are on the way. Hellion started up a little bit earlier here for HEROMARINE, whereas you can see MARU looks like started his command center before the Hellion. Factory was just slightly later because of that SCV scout, I guess. Did sacrifice a little bit of minerals, 2 Reapers and a Hellion versus 1 Reaper into Reactor. So MARU's played pretty greedy and definitely possible for HEROMARINE to kill that SCV, run away. 12 seconds till the other 2 Reapers pop out for MARU here. HEROMARINE has to get out of there very quickly after this. That's a good snipe. That delays the command center by a solid 10-15 seconds as the replacement Drilly Boy goes down there to finish that project. Starport starts up for both sides at a similar timing. And look at this. 3 Reapers, 2 Hellions up against 2 Reapers, 1 Hellion. But HEROMARINE went for the fast attack lab. His Cyclone will be out in time. And you can see MARU is actually just looking for those Reapers because he says, look, if I go across the map right now, they could jump in, kill my 2 Marines, kill some SCVs, cause some trouble. I'm going to play it safe. And already a siege tank is on the way. 3rd gas, much quicker for HEROMARINE. He will be getting into that mining a little bit faster. And what are we doing? Medevac tank drop, but a supply block for about only a 1.5 seconds. Never mind. About perfect play from MARU. And we're actually going to see Ravens for HEROMARINE. So HEROMARINE is going to be on the defensive here, whereas MARU, I would expect him to try to drop a siege tank here, siege it up, and just push on this command center. Could get himself in trouble if the Raven production is continual. But look at this. HEROMARINE has actually not got the cast for the Raven right now. And he cancels the tank and does start the Raven. Okay. No Widowmine, though. Widowmine's so good against this sort of builds. If you can get a Widowmine hit on the Medevac, or even on the Hellion Reaper, it really gives you a good start to the fight. Now he queues up the tank, but it ends up being about 20 seconds delayed, maybe even more because of that. We'll see what angle MARU goes for. Of course, the old school popular angle is to come here and drop the tank and try to get these add-ons, but this siege tank well positioned to cover both sides. Oh, very good. Look at that. He baits him into the tank shot. Now, as MARU, do you just go for the main base? It looks like he wants to siege a tank on the low ground and then maybe elevate in. Let's see what he does here, guys. He's going to hop on into the main base. And there we go. This is going to be kind of hard to deal with. His siege tank on the low ground has not unsieged just yet. But look at that. The siege tank does great anti-armored damage even outside of tank mode. Auto turret comes down as well, and that's a shutdown. Absolute shutdown there. I think a little bit too obvious what MARU was doing there against a player as good as HEROMARINE now. He pulls back and he's going for the redrop. Oh, MARU. MARU thinks HEROMARINE's immediately going to counterattack him, so he's playing such a dangerous game. If the Cyclone... Oh, I guess he killed the Cyclone, so he knows there's only Marines, so he doesn't feel like he can get focused down by anything. He says, I have the mobility. Without a Cyclone, you can't punish me, even on 13 hit points. High risk, high reward. The sort of game that MARU is playing here in this early game, and his 3rd command center does go down. Almost identical timing to HEROMARINE, who's actually got a very quick 2nd and 3rd barracks. HEROMARINE up 4 SCVs right now, looking very healthy in this game. Ravens, there's 2 Ravens out. We've got 55 energy and 39 energy for HEROMARINE, and just one with 68 energy there for MARU. Oh, very nice master repair to stop the Reaper harass. MARU bringing out the tricky plays there. This is a very cool thing. If it's ever just one Reaper in your mineral line, guys, that's a really good trick you can do, is just quickly grab a bunch of SCVs and repair the one that's getting attacked. Just make sure the one that's getting attacked doesn't keep mining. Otherwise, it'll phase through the SCVs and they'll have to keep stop repairing it and try to get on top of it. So you just want to stop or hold position it. 2 more barracks now on the way for MARU. MARU wants to keep attacking. I got to say, at this point, after your first attack's kind of gone a little awry, do you want to put it back in your pants? My instincts say yes, but looking at the units last tab, he has killed a few of HEROMARINE's units. It's just, look at the tank count, 4 versus 2. You've got more Raven energy. There's even Vikings being produced 2 at a time. I don't mind MARU posturing, but I do mind if he gets caught. MARU's got to be careful with how he executes this. Play it kind of chilled out. And actually, HEROMARINE worried about his main base right now. He's expecting a rotation up there. He's got to worry about the natural. He doesn't want to lose the gas or anything like that. And Cyclone out in the open. Nice lock on for MARU, but only gets a single tick. Hellion in the third, defended by a siege tank. MARU's third is landed, as is HEROMARINE's about to be. Reaper Grenade doesn't find the mark. And look at this. Is that Raven auto turret run by MARU? Loves posturing at the front, pretending he wants to push. And then look at that. That auto turret's a mining time auto turret, but actually HEROMARINE goes back into it accidentally there. Does find a couple of kills. Very nice targeting by MARU. Gets 2 extra low hit point SCVs at the end due to his focus fire. If he didn't focus fire, that would have automatically targeted other units. Where's the engineering bay? Upgrades already 30 seconds underway for MARU, just starting now for HEROMARINE. And he did not have the gas to start, +1 armor, so that one's been forgotten. Cyclone there, still picking off units, up to 3 kills so far. Nice forward scan as HEROMARINE here, still up 2 tanks. He's up 10 Marines. And he's got the Viking advantage. Cyclone does something to deal with that. It does add a bit of damage on one of those Vikings. And MARU right now struggling to keep vision of where HEROMARINE's going to come from. Oh, one of the Ravens of MARU gets taken out. Interference Matrix shoves him back, but HEROMARINE's Ravens do take big damage. One of them falling. HEROMARINE's got to move forward and cut off this rally path. MARU can't get through that choke point, though. MARU cannot move through there. He's got a medevac. He could try to pick up some tanks. He's going to try and move those tanks around. He's got to repair this siege tank as well. Does he have any scans? MARU needs to win the Viking fight, and he needs to scan up, or he could just get taken out right here, right now. And honestly, you know what? I think HEROMARINE actually could have shoved the natural there. HEROMARINE wins the Viking fight. The tanks will anchor his position. 2 tanks on the third, 2 in the natural. HEROMARINE does not find a way in. He's just chipping away right now, picking at the depots. He's got a Liberator coming out. Vikings are being built 2 at a time, though. I think it's only a matter of time until MARU does win this fight. But look at that. No scan for MARU straight away. Okay, he does get a scan down, wins the siege tank fight. Viking battle going his way. Tank on the left side as well. Scan is working out. It really doubled up there, did that scan. HEROMARINE, though, does get 1 more siege tank. That means there's no tanks on this base on the low ground. MARU, he's only got this 1 tank on the high ground. He's going to try and shift it forward. He's using his medevac, ferrying his very limited tank count around. But HEROMARINE did not have the scan. He just got the energy. He scans and he goes, oh no, there are 2 tanks there. But little does he know they just got in position. HEROMARINE now trying to shove. He thinks there's too many tanks down there. Auto turret plus marine angle. But the counter turret interference matrix, very well done by MARU. MARU's holding on. MARU's not going to give up this game just now. 73 SCVs versus 73 economically. They are neck and neck. But we've got the air control is now up for MARU. If you want to use this Liberator, it's got to be a harassment Liberator. He's going to send it down the right flank into either the main or the third mineral line. Not a bad way to use it, but at the same time, I got to say, where's that 4th base? Would have loved to see that built on location. I would have loved to see 2-2 already started up. None of this happened. It's actually MARU who's hitting those a little bit better. MARU did lose the gas. Oh, I like that tank spot. It's a cute one. But looks like MARU will trade tank for tank. And with the interference matrix, he's going to get 1 more kill. Even uses the Viking land there. Very cute. Okay, at this point, HEROMARINE's looking like he wants to force it a little bit. He's so close to winning this entire group stage, but where's his 2-2? It starts up 2-1. He forgot +1 armor, didn't he? Oh man, I even forgot. I just assumed he'd remembered at some point and clicked it, but he didn't. The Liberator's sieging up the main. A very nice move. This army's going to get crushed. It's just too small. HEROMARINE's trying to be a bit cheeky out here. He's going to lose those units. He picks up some of them and saves them. Liberator in the main does pick off only 2 SCVs. MARU handles it. Drop on the left side, comes on in. And look at that. The SCVs immediately A-move, as do the Vikings. And he should be able to take out the tanks. 7 SCVs, gets a Viking or 2. He's going to take out probably just some depots, but in the end, the medevacs have all gone down, haven't they? And that gets shut down too. These are diminishing returns. If HEROMARINE had taken a 4th and a 5th during this, I wouldn't mind this sort of messy trade. This is the sort of thing you do when you've already hit all your macro perfectly and you are way ahead. You can afford to throw units away. Any trade's a good trade against the guy who's stuck on 3 base. But check it out, 4th base landing at the same time. MARU, unlike the kind of soft, crumbly texture that he showed in that last game, he's showing a much firmer texture this game, guys. He's showing like a real solid block of that cheap, shitty cheddar that you might buy down at the grocery store. Before, he was some sort of sharp, tangy, crumbly cheese. This time around, MARU's showing a much harder texture, and he's not going to go down as easily. HEROMARINE's going to have to go to the later stages and play a bit more of a well-rounded game. I think MARU maybe a little bit of halloumi or something like that. Something with a real firm texture to it. HEROMARINE is now actually slightly behind, guys, because the upgrades are significantly behind. He's actually gone extra starports and a 5th command center really early. It's just one of those things where I think when you're that far ahead and then you take some sloppy fights, it's hard to gauge where you are in the game now. Whereas I think MARU, he's kind of full turtle mode plus marine run-bys, which is not a bad way to play at all. He'll try and pick off the gas geyser. Siege tank will land a shot. HEROMARINE can just replace that. Losing a gas, not a big deal. I like this. He's like, no. You have to deal with this. If you want to get that gas up again, you have to send something here. I don't mind trading 4 Marines. I would love to see HEROMARINE just split his Marines off the right side as well and try and hunt them down. Marine run-by on the left as well. There's a tank there. Should be able to defend it. You can see, though, MARU's kind of switching gears, and he's saying, look, my goal here is to play just real slow late game. Tanks will never leave home, and I'll just do these 0-risk Marine squads. Why are they 0-risk? Because you can just pick up and leave at any moment. If anything goes wrong. Tries to get the sensor tower. Those are the big value targets, those sensor towers, because it does open up angles for future harassment to go unscouted. Mass command centers, and it looks like we're going to see a Raven transition. What's really fascinating, guys, is HEROMARINE, a man after my own heart, is going advanced ballistics. He's going to go for air superiority. Rather than Ravens for busting tank positions, HEROMARINE is actually just going to go for the Vikings to win the Viking fight, and then the Liberators to siege the enemy tanks. That's a very cool style. Problem, you do not have a lot of supply in Marines after that, right? If you've got a lot of Vikings and Libs and tanks, it can get a little nasty if you get caught out of position. Right now, he's still up on Marines, but he's going to be transitioning into a slower composition at some point here. MARU, you can see, still with a very mobile army, doesn't want to move his tanks across, doesn't want to risk it. And MARU's actually not even building more tanks right now. He's only at 8. And actually, HEROMARINE the same, but HEROMARINE's only got 6. I gotta tell you guys, if you play Viking Lib, it's all about tanks, Vikings, Libs. Vikings and Libs leverage the power of your tanks. If he's only got 6 tanks, I see these getting interference matrix and him getting wiped. HEROMARINE needs to trade some of these Marines off, whether in drops or some other way. I like this in the top left. He's gonna find a command center. I like this skirmishing over here is good for him. Vikings can try to hunt down the medevacs as well. I think he can hunt that down. Yeah. Gets a command center cancel in the top left. This is really good. Another command center cancel. HEROMARINE in the driver's seat right now. And he's using that map control from earlier in this game. But Raven, Corvid reactor is on the way. Raven's being built 2 at a time by MARU, whose gas bank is the limiting factor. He's going to try and take a 5th base up front and center, building more commands and his more turrets, more sensor towers. Drop on the left, Marine spotters on the right. But still, no tank production for HEROMARINE. And like I said, Libs are nice, but if you don't have tanks, the enemy can just, if they have enough Marines, they can just A-move you. So it almost feels like HEROMARINE saying, I'm going to have enough Marines to fight your Marines, and my Viking Lib will beat your siege tanks, which is really fascinating. I haven't really seen it done this way by HEROMARINE or anyone else before, so we'll see how it fares. The Cyclone does go down. Double drop in the back. Focus! Stim and focus the upgrades! Oh, he could have got the upgrades, but he didn't focus fire. Bummer there. No stim, no focus fire for HEROMARINE until the last second. Lib, though. Oh, he gets a few of the siege tanks, a few more heavily damaged. This is a great push for HEROMARINE. And what the hell does MARU do to deal with this? It looks like he's going to try and go around. He's like, okay, well, you can siege there, but I'll threaten the counterattack. He knows that you have so many air units, you don't necessarily have as big a ground army. And definitely MARU has the tank count, but his marine count is not too powerful. Look at that. Look at that. The Viking fight going pretty well for HEROMARINE right now. Remember, HEROMARINE has his +1 attack, whereas it's only +1 armor for MARU. Those upgrades should cancel out at this stage. Interference matrix is on the tank on the left side, and the Marines will clean up that Viking advantage. HEROMARINE losing the Viking control there a little sloppily. He's building libs right now. He's going to need to build more Vikings as well. He's now producing more tanks. I feel like a bit of a wake-up call there for him. And how many starports has he got? Is it just 2? No, he's got 3 reacted starports. So he can build 6 Vikings and libs at a time. Some mixture of those 2 units. I personally, if I was him, you're focusing on the air upgrades. More Vikings and libs right now. Don't remax on Marines. You've got the gas. Go for that, you know? And I'd also like to see more turrets because he doesn't actually have anything to stop drops. I think HEROMARINE's had so much map control, and now as he swaps into a slower composition, even adding a 3rd factory for more siege tanks over here, because he wants to, he's kind of swapping into a borderline mech style. I think it's really dangerous because you're so used to controlling the map, and if MARU starts dropping around the back, getting lib harassed in, anything like that, you're stuck with this very immobile tank Viking focused army. He's still got 50 Marines, don't get me wrong, but it's going to be something where MARU, if he just hangs on long enough, keeps defending, keeps dancing with them. I have a feeling that HEROMARINE's not really battening down the defenses as much as he should. We'll see how it plays out, of course. +3 vehicle weapons on the way right now for MARU. His tanks going to have +3 versus just +1 of HEROMARINE's siege tanks. Already, siege tank count 12 versus 11 in MARU's favor, so very similar numbers over there. Another push on the left side coming in. Marines on the right side, though. Are they going to run in at the same time? I'd love to see those Marines hit that base. It's only got 1 tank on it. The sensor tower vision is overlapping circles all over this minimap right now. The Ravens are going to go down. A lot of Ravens fall, but it's worth it. They shut down so many of these tanks. The libs and the Marines trying to get out of there. Marines on the right side are going to run in. They will be able to take out 2 tanks and a sensor tower, but not much else as MARU does respond. A couple extra SCVs could be taken on the exit. That tank on the high ground, an absolute Chad, gets quite a few good shots off before it does get taken out by MARU's siege tank. And what are we reproducing? I think after fights like that, it's very important to reproduce your Marines. So you can see HEROMARINE says, okay, I need mobile units. Reproduce Marines, tanks, Vikings. Marines, tanks, Vikings. And I've got to keep an eye on the units lost tab because I've always felt like with the Ravens, if you're playing at peak play, is the better option. That only by a small margin in terms of efficiency, and it's really about how both players use those units. So the thing is, if you've got enough Vikings, you do gun down a lot of the Ravens before they get their spells off, especially if Marines get in front, like in that last fight. But what happened there is those tanks were all in one big battery, one big combined force of siege tanks. Great for concentrating their fire, but it also means it's very easy for the Ravens to just get in range for one moment, throw down every single interference matrix. Whereas if you have your tanks layered and stacked back a little bit, it's harder for MARU to find the target on those Raven spells, and that can definitely change the outcome. We've got a big technical late game here. 2 Liberators, 15 Vikings, 4 air control for HEROMARINE. Only 8 Vikings for MARU, who I feel like is just mixing them in just to absorb some fire and take some eyes off the Ravens, but he's not really focusing on having that number advantage. He's focusing on the tank Marine count. And then what you do is you say, look, I use my interference matrices to take your siege tanks out, and then my Marine tank wins the fight. And it's a good strategy. It's a really good strategy. He's done it pretty well so far, but a Liberator does find a bunch more SCVs. Does deal with that on the right side. I like that HEROMARINE's staying active. I also like that MARU is very, very diligent about leaving a tank sieged up at all of his exposed bases. 2 more siege tanks are there for MARU right now. Really, what you want as HEROMARINE is you want all your tanks sieged, and oh no, he's gonna get caught! His tanks are in the open, and he's gonna have to just abandon those tanks. Here comes a giant engagement for MARU, but MARU's tanks on the right side do kind of get caught, but oh, the tanks on the left side getting great volleys. The Vikings are forced to fight, but they can't stand and fight with Marines on top of them. He's got to pick up his tanks and get out of there. He's gonna try and do it. 10 more Marines building right now at a time. That means he's only on 5 barracks production. And this is why sometimes it's really worth going up to the 8 barracks just so you can reproduce. Look at the production tab. Look at the upgrade tab. MARU, though, honestly, that was the fight he needed. And HEROMARINE was sloppy. You need your Vikings to be in front of your tanks so that you kill the Ravens on the engage. MARU got his spells off. He didn't even lose his Ravens. And that is why you see now MARU taking a 1,000 resources lost advantage to a 4,000 resources lost advantage. So that means HEROMARINE has lost 4,000 more resources. He's been way less efficient. And that's because these Ravens are able to get their spells off way too efficiently. Now, I like that the tanks are a little bit more layered. That means when MARU shoves forward, he gets caught out, but look at that, he repositions. He says, you're too focused on protecting your production. Now I can siege your base up. And guess what? There's 3 libs on the map. HEROMARINE should be able to mass repair and lib this out. He should be able to, these sort of standoff situations favor HEROMARINE, and he should be able to push this back. MARU potentially playing into HEROMARINE's hands a little bit. HEROMARINE does chase a bit too far. Does he though? Oh, HEROMARINE trying to just bait him forwards out of position. 10 Vikings versus 5. 3-3 upgrades are about to kick in for the Vikings of HEROMARINE. I love those upgrades, but look at that hot pickup from MARU. He's just inching his way backwards. Siege, unsiege, pick up, drop, re-siege, moving around and making it really hard. HEROMARINE has a very fancy army. It siege the tanks, siege the Liberators just in front of the siege tanks. That way, if MARU stims his Marines forward, the tanks cover your libs. The libs, of course, annihilate the enemy tanks, but oh no! Command Center with 8 SCVs inside, 7 SCVs inside does fall. HEROMARINE's losing a base. He's losing control of this map. He's going to come in with a lib, but turrets well placed are going to take that down. Even with the range upgrade, these libs unable to defend that. And look at that, the Vikings are winning these fights. Way worse upgrades, way worse numbers, doesn't even matter. A couple of Ravens trying to come out for HEROMARINE. I think he's realized Ravens are where the money's at, but look at that, the interference matrices land. MARU shoving on in. The Raven King, the late game king says, take your Viking lib and shove it up your ass. Dude, I know how to use my Ravens excellently. I found those fights. I gotta say, HEROMARINE did make some mistakes with this style, but MARU just punished him so instantaneously, so hard, and shoves on forward. HEROMARINE unable to defend that base, and MARU is gonna tie up the series and absolutely smashes it. That one big fight in the middle, a huge momentum shift, and Big Gabe gets punished. Also, he was a little bit too committed to the Vikings, I'm quite sure, guys. Often at double the Viking count, it's a lot of supply that's not going to help when the Marines and the tanks shove into each other. GG, MARU ties up the series. All right, a nice fight back there. That game looked like he was in trouble. He was very close to having his third broken in that game. But he hangs on, barely, ferrying tanks desperately back between his natural and third. That was a heroic hold. This is MARU. In the top left, of course, HEROMARINE maybe getting a little over-eager in that game. In the middle stages, it's kind of funny because he could have, I think, killed MARU by being a little more eager. I think he was just a little light on the scan energy. As a big wave of subs. Everyone's loving this series live as we cast this on our Best Games of StarCraft stream. Tune in, guys. Every Friday or Saturday, EU North American time, if you want a chance to catch some of it. And big thanks to those who've been here supporting live. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube, you can also support more of this content and check out more of it if you check out my Patreon. Link is down below in the description. Big thanks, Skywalker, Stonecoat, Stockrun, Epoxy, and Today of Power. We'll give you guys all some proper shout-outs after this match, as well as get some of that pig celebration going, slap some bacon down, as we do. But yeah, HEROMARINE, I think he could have actually pushed a bit harder, but I think he was just light on scans and didn't get the info early enough to know he could shove in. And then he tried to kind of force it a little bit too much. It's a little unfortunate because it's that thing where I'm like, oh, you actually should have pushed harder, faster. And then once you missed that opportunity, you should have chilled a little bit. And he started throwing units away. And I wouldn't have minded it if HEROMARINE was taking his 4th on location, taking a 5th on location, and just being a greedy shitbag behind it. But he wasn't. And what was really telling in my mind, and I could be misreading in this, because I'm a big advocate of Viking Liberator, but I've never heard a pro that agrees with me on that. And it's not like I say it's better for pros. I say it's better at my skill level. It's just playing Viking Lib rather than the Ravens, because I find it's easier to not mess up my army control. And it's like, it's kind of straightforward, right? Where it's like, they have tanks there, you have tanks here, and then your libs siege their tanks have to unsiege, and then you move your tanks forward, you move your libs forward, and it's just this like real simple forward push. Where it falls apart is when your opponent does what MARU did, and you siege an angle, and he just goes around, and when you unsiege, or start unsieging, or start getting your army out of position, he just jumps on you. And we saw there was multiple fights in that last game. If you're playing Viking Lib, you always need to have your Vikings in front of your tanks guarding against the Ravens. If your Vikings aren't in between the tanks and the enemy Ravens, those Ravens get all their spells off basically for free, and the fight starts terribly for you. So it was, I think, a really big mistake for HEROMARINE with how he engaged with that style. But what's fascinating here, guys, is game 3, once again, no scout, just a single Reaper into a reactor, into Hellions. MARU, of course, doing a very similar build order, but he went 2 Reapers and a Hellion, so he might just be heading across the map to pressure, which wouldn't have been a bad idea. He could have come in, killed the SCV, and ran away, but MARU's playing it very defensive and safe, and he's actually building a Widow Mine and a very nicely timed starport. So I wouldn't be surprised to see MARU here get a medevac, go for like a Marine medevac Widow Mine drop in the back of the base while the Hellion Reaper pokes at the front. That's a very common way to play this. We'll see exactly what both players have in store. I'd expect a fast gas on the natural from both players in the near future. HEROMARINE's been doing that a little bit quicker in most of these games than MARU, but I feel like MARU is putting back on these main 2 gases a little bit earlier because it feels like he's always 50 to 100 gas ahead somehow. And indeed takes that 3rd gas on the natural just about 10 seconds behind. Okay, so still just a very defensive setup. MARU is the player who's been scouting. HEROMARINE has been playing entirely blind. And I'll tell you what, when a player keeps losing and getting their butt kicked in the early game, I criticize this. I really do. So far, HEROMARINE has been ahead from the early game pretty consistently. I mean, I would say he was slightly behind in game 1, but he ended up just crushing that mid-game fight anyway. So it doesn't really matter too much. That medevac's out. And are we going to see Widow Mine on Bo3? Yes, we are. And look at that. Hellion, Widow Mine, 4 Marines going towards the main base. Reaper Scout looking to see the push out, but look at this great map control squad there for HEROMARINE. 3 Reapers, a Hellion, and a Cyclone. Of course, that does leave very few units at home. The Siege Tank will be popping in just as this medevac arrives, though. And with the double Marine production, I think HEROMARINE's okay. He's going to send a Hellion forward. He's got the Cyclone and the Reaper back there. You got to be careful, MARU. Your drop almost got snapped on 2,000 atmospheres, remember? Be careful, buddy. Look at that. Okay, comes on in. Actually, no, it was on the last map, wasn't it? It was on Hardwire. Ow, 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 oh, not the best spready there from HEROMARINE. A lot of red hit point SCVs that, look at this, MARU's Hellion. Oh, the Hellion is horny. The Hellion's very horny, gets 4 kills there and does get out on the red hit points. Very nicely done there. 4 SCVs go down and a good disruption to the mining. That's great damage. 3rd command center goes up in the main base as well. Still pretty even game so far. There's a superstitious part of me that knows the form of MARU, knows his legacy, and is looking at this, who's excited if HEROMARINE can beat him, because it would be so cool, but at the same time is like, nah, now it's stabilized, now MARU's warmed up, now MARU's going to shut you down. And the thing is, I know it's completely unfounded. It's a completely unfounded viewpoint for me to have, but it's this thing where, you know, you can't help but feel like the favorite, the guy with the experience and the grit who's made so many comebacks and so many championships in his career is just such a heavy favorite. And so you get kind of superstitious about it, or at least I do. We're like, no, HEROMARINE must be feeling the pressure. This looks pretty good supply-wise for HEROMARINE. He's actually quite up in army supply. His Vikings might catch this drop, but oh, he's going to miss it. He's going to miss it. Ah, that's a bit of a bummer for him, especially if he unsieges his tanks and moves out, which he very well may do. He's got a siege tank well positioned to cover most of that main base, but yeah, oh, this is the worst. HEROMARINE has the illusion of having cleaned up any drop on the top side of the map. He's moving forward. The scan comes in, and MARU's in a very good spot now. I do like this Widow Mine, but it doesn't quite kill the Cyclone, does it? Oh, MARU, I don't think he sees it, or the Raven would have gone to clear that up. HEROMARINE's like, God damn it. If I put that in the right spot, I would have got a Cyclone kill by now. Drop in the main. Perfectly timed. Nothing at home. 1 siege tank unsieged in the natural that he forgot to bring with him, and that's about it. Hellions is going to F up these SCVs, dude. Oh, this could be game-ending damage. So many SCVs going down. The flamethrower on that Hellion working overtime. Is this the same Hellion from earlier in the game? It is. It went home, it got repaired, and it's back for more. Up to 7 kills, and of course assisting with so many more. 20 SCVs go down. HEROMARINE should not have stood and fought. He should have pulled to the natural and pulled that siege tank up. Now HEROMARINE, it feels like he's all in. Guys, remember, he went into Viking production very early. He does have the Viking advantage, but only slightly. MARU, well defended. Looking super solid and wisely not floating his third command center out. He says, no way I'm going to float my third command center out, buddy. I've just massacred your economy with that single sneaky drop. And guys, it all comes down to the fact that HEROMARINE not only looked for the drop, but he looked poorly. That one mistake has led to him being massively behind, because if he sent that right along the edge of the map, he would have spotted that drop. He would have actually known for sure what he thought he knew, which is he would have known for sure that there's nothing up there, because he would have killed the drop or at least pushed it back, and then his push would have been creating this as a one-directional engagement. But wait a second, double interference matrix, that tank should be able to kill one of those tanks, but the other one will come out of siege mode and will win that fight. Of course, that tank... Oh, no, they're not in range of each other, never mind. The Reapers in the back, picking off a few SCVs as well, not bad. Couple of SCVs do go down, 7 workers in total. The tanks are pushed forward on the front as well. I almost feel like he could just shove. He's got a Liberator. And guys, if he wins the Viking fight, 6 versus 3, MARU is actually pushed back. And guess what? The economy already almost equalized. This is a very scary push, but great tank line for MARU. MARU cannot drop a single mule. He needs to save everything for scans. He's got another scan available. Oh, he just uses it straight away. The Marines are going to try and go for the Liberator. If he gets the Liberator, he does. Okay, MARU sacrifices a bunch of Marines in auto turret to get that Liberator, but getting that means that HEROMARINE cannot force his way in. Unfortunately for HEROMARINE, I don't know if these tanks, I guess 1 or 2 might be in range of the starport. He lands a Viking up there as well. He's going to take out a depot, start doing some damage. Behind this, the third base has not floated out. He's up to 3 ranks, pumping out Marines right now. Oh, a brave push by MARU. Is it too brave though? Ah, these 2 tanks not really going to be able to help out. A lot of auto turrets had to go down, but he clears out a lot of the Marines there of HEROMARINE. And guess what? The Vikings, he's thinking about landing and going for the starport. He knows if he can kill the starport, that'll be big, but that means he's going to lose these Vikings. That's a one-way trip for at least a few of these. Starport takes big damage. Only 1 Viking dies on the disengage. Nicely done by HEROMARINE, who's on 8 versus 7 Vikings, but he's outnumbered on the ground. Down 2 tanks, down 14 Marines. And right now, it's just about getting out of there. Honestly, HEROMARINE's done a good situation. He's wasting so many of his opponent's scans very effectively. He's going to kill 1 tank. Oh, he should be able to kill the second one. He focuses it. He gets a very nice fight on that second one, but the Marines are getting slaughtered by this siege tank on the south, and even though they chase in and get that tank, the other tanks in the back make them pay a high price. HEROMARINE's fought his way back into this. Equal workers. His 1-1 upgrades are going to catch up in a little bit of time. Armory is already started. HEROMARINE needs to start his. His 4th and 5th barracks is now down. Already, we have a 4th and 5th barracks up, but no add-ons on them just yet. This is a very even game, and you've got to admit, the unit advantage is there for HEROMARINE. He's up in supply about 10. He's got a few more Marines. He's down 2 tanks, but a few more Vikings. And he's got this Cyclone, which is, of course, great for mopping up those lone Marine spotters on the map. This series has actually really gone above and beyond our expectations. And we see even MARU, if your opponent gets the Viking air control, even MARU looks like he's, unable to just bust out of that with the ease you might expect. But now that he's stabilized, he's focusing on what he has advantages in. His upgrades, his 3rd finally landing, saturating that, taking the gases, getting sensor towers. And the armory is about to finish, so HEROMARINE shouldn't be too far behind on those upgrades, as he does hit a little bit of a 125 supply block. More reactors going down, and going to start the second factory on the tech lab. MARU hasn't done that just yet. He should be lifting that barracks off in the near future, but we'll see how it goes. Medevacs, Marines, tanks all moving forwards. The sensor tower is identically placed for both players. And we're going to keep an eye on that unit tab, because right now upgrades are even, and it's just almost identical. It's really about who takes the better fights here more than anything. Cancels the depot, gets an SCV kill. That Cyclone, this is their best use, Later on in the game, it's just picking off units. Of course, if you're not looking for a moment, Marines will take it down. HEROMARINE, quick response, gets a Marine, and then does lose it. His Marine wins a fight on the left side of the map. These Marines are going to chase MARU's Marines. MARU's going to keep taking drugs. Because remember, guys, MARU's Marines are basically a bunch of Jim Jeffries. I take drugs like a motherfucker. I take drugs like a champion. But he's 1 tank in the natural. Most of his tanks are isolated. Remember, he can ferry them over, though. These tanks, I think the numbers are there. Yeah, I think MARU was okay to just jump on top. He was okay to jump on top. 4th command center is there, 2-2. Extra depots going down. 30 supply advantage right now for HEROMARINE over MARU. That looks pretty awesome, man. I mean, honestly, just keep focusing on your macro. You don't need to force it. Just keep pressuring the way you are. You're getting great kind of pickups on the map. HEROMARINE's going to stem on that. MARU, a little slow to respond. Loses a few Marines on the tail end. HEROMARINE needs to start scanning a bit more, though, if he wants to go any deeper. And I mean, that actually was an opportunity. He maybe could have shoved in. There was only 2 tanks there. But HEROMARINE right now, you can tell he's trying to scare MARU, but he doesn't want to commit too hard. There we go. Tanks sieged all on these high grounds. 4th command center will be coming up soon. 4th is going to float down for HEROMARINE. His double starport transition. And guys, does he stick with the reactors? Does he try to do Viking Lib and create asymmetry? Asymmetry, for anyone who's hard of hearing. Asymmetry as in not symmetrical. Or is he just going to play Ravens? Because he tried to swap into Ravens last game, which makes me think he will just go straight for Ravens this time. He's faster on that starport transition. I think it's a great way to do it. There's no drop defense in the main. He does have 1 tank there, but I think that's just because he hasn't rallied that 2nd factory yet. So MARU actually has no defense in his main, guys, and no sensor tower vision. He's so wide open to a drop. His natural is also kind of wide open, because you could drop right on top of that tank potentially, though 1 siege tank definitely is the beginnings of a defense. He's trying to move down to a 4th. HEROMARINE just posturing on the front. He's going to run into this army. He's got to pull back. He's got a double drop in the main, which is great, but he takes some big tank volleys, and he's going to lose a lot of units up here. Oh, great angling from MARU. MARU takes an awesome fight. HEROMARINE was not expecting him to be taking this 4th base, so he's very surprised to find him in that position. 2 tanks sieged up. The double drop pulls out of there for now. He's going to try and pull back and maybe siege up on this line, but that siege tank is going to ruin him. Yeah, these Marines aren't going to be able to do much there. He's just going to get out. It's a good boost just to preserve a few of his units, but HEROMARINE is getting real sloppy right now. He's going to try and engage. These drops are going to unload in the middle of that. Oh, that's not the push you want. HEROMARINE getting way too antsy right now. He's trying to just force his way in. He's not sieged right now as MARU, but HEROMARINE's already bled out so many units. HEROMARINE has to slow down and settle into this rhythm. He knows he's got the advantage. He knows he's ahead in units. MARU has taken some big damage. Remember that double drop got a lot of tanks sieged up in the main and disrupted. But HEROMARINE is bleeding all of his siege tanks out. He doesn't even have a scan there. And another couple of siege tanks go down. Guys, he's lost 13 tanks to 5. He is right now at 2 tanks versus 11. He's still got the supply advantage. He still can salvage this, but he's got to start his armor. He's got to get the Ravens out, and he's got to stop throwing units away, because if he loses his Marine advantage, MARU could counter push him, and he could counter push him hard. Even with this supply advantage, you throw away 30, 40 Marines, MARU's just going to kill you with an overwhelming number of siege tanks. There's still no drop-down defense on this south side. There is a sensor tower on the top as well now, so there's something there. But once again, I've got to say, if the game stabilizes as HEROMARINE, turret or 2 down here, a couple of turrets up there, it's going to do wonders to stop things like this drop of MARU that's coming across the map. Now, obviously, unit advantage for HEROMARINE, so it'd be really good if he just runs into that. And indeed, he does. He even stemmed a few Marines ahead. I think he was just expecting to find a base maybe in this direction. But he's got more Marines. 3-3 for MARU is ahead, but the Ravens already starting to pump out. Remember, Corvid reactor has been made. And it's only an orbital in the top. Planetary in the bottom. Oh, he's taking a lot of bases, is HEROMARINE? I think he might be spreading himself a bit too thin. This is actually his main base. SCVs versus +3 armor Marines, guys. Taste my drill, they say. The Marines like, really? That's it? That's all you got? Kills 3 SCVs before going down for a single Marine. A great trade. Marines on the right side still looking good for HEROMARINE, but MARU respecting it. He's going to run on in, get the SCV building the command center. They do get cleaned up. HEROMARINE does need to send another SCV onto that, and he will do so. 3-3 is going to be catching up there for HEROMARINE. Vehicle weapons upgrades are tied with +3 now starting, as well as high-sec auto tracking on the way for HEROMARINE. Ravens have not been rallied, and I'd love to see him start rallying these Ravens out. MARU's starting the Raven transition as well. HEROMARINE's been ahead on the numbers, but this is reminiscent of that game deciding game 3, game 4. I think it was game 4, game 3, where MARU finished him off in that series I referenced at the start, where HEROMARINE had a good army, but he just couldn't find a way in. And you could see him kind of lose motivation, realizing just how good MARU was at defending, and that it was so hard to find a way in. And this is what MARU does better than anyone. He literally, he plays like Showtime. When he goes to late game, he just defends, and it's all he does. But look at this, he's left an opening on the right side. 3 siege tanks are in the open, And nice interference matrix is taken down. Get out of there, Hero Marine. That's too much. Oh, he's pushing the right side at the same moment. Wow, a two-prong push here for Hero Marine. This, I mean, he's in range of the planetary. This is a disaster for MARU right now. These tanks can keep shifting forward on that side as well. More interference matrices. An amazing fight for Hero Marine, but wait. Why were his units so wounded there? I need to rewatch that fight. 17 minutes, guys. Call me on that at the end of this series. 17 minutes. I don't know what happened. It looked like he took maybe just 1 or 2 devastating siege tank shots before the matrices landed because his Marines were very wounded. But despite losing the fight on the right, he wins the fight on the left and will be able to take this planetary out, but he's got to reconsolidate that right side. He's going to get counter-pushed, and look at this tank advantage from MARU. And there's not enough Marines right now. Remember I said if Hero Marine loses his Marine advantage, it's going to be very scary, family. He sees this army coming, and he's going to have to give up ground. He's going to have to give up a couple bases. He's trying to stim on it. That's not the way to go. You are massively outnumbered right now, Hero Marine. Nice pullback from him. I love that he clearly wanted to engage, and then he quickly pulled back. His Vikings are going to get slaughtered, though. He's kind of ignored his Vikings. They're going to go in and try to fight this, but MARU has the air control. Command center will get blasted down. He hasn't taken critical damage just yet, but look at this. Great play by MARU. Interference matrices on both sides. Hero Marine does not have the numbers to fight this, but wait, MARU's overextending. His Marines are super damaged, but he just has so many tanks. I don't know if there's a way to take this down right now as Hero Marine. You can tell that MARU senses weakness and he's going to try and force the mistakes out of his opponent. At this point, Hero Marine needs to re-siege up in that main base. He's got a flank ready on the right side. But look at this. This is such a hard position to be for Hero Marine. He's still got tanks down there, but he doesn't have a spotter, so he's not sieging the planetary anymore. MARU shoving right on in here. The Ravens plus the tank count. I talked about how Ravens make tanks OP, and look at what MARU is doing with it. Their power is enabling those siege tanks to shove forwards. They lock down the enemy tanks. They allow him to move forward. And MARU shoves in and wins that game despite being trailing in supply for the last maybe 8-9 minutes. Let's watch that fight there. MARU fighting back like an absolute Chad gamer. But let's watch that fight one more time. First fight was flawless for Hero Marine. He only used 1 stim. He pulled back. He should have been fully healed by the next fight. And he was pretty much fully healed here. But the interference matrices were slow, guys. Watch this. So if we watch this. No. All 3 landed before they got to shoot. He didn't get a 4th one off because he didn't have energy. He was just shy of the energy. And shouldn't he have won this fight? So he's got... Obviously, we don't look at units tab. We just look at what's here. That's 24 plus 18. I'm not good with numbers, guys. 24 plus 18, so 42, right? Yeah, 42. Wait, oh my God, my brain is hurting. So 24, 32, 40, 42. Yeah, 42 Marines. Oh my God, sorry guys. I've been casting for a long time today. And how many Marines does MARU have? 25 versus 42. They both stemmed once. 3-3 for MARU, 3-2 for Hero Marine. What the fuck happens here? He just stemmed 2 more times! He just triple stemmed! Oh no! Hero Marine triple stemmed! No way! Oh shit! I think he was trying to spam auto turrets or something like that. Because turrets are T, right? I think he tried to tab and throw auto turrets. And he only had enough energy for like 1 or 2. He had a Raven there that had energy as well. He could have dropped. He wanted to try to drop 2 turrets. Oh, that's heartbreaking, man. Oh my God. Because guys, that 1 tank and what, 1 or 2 auto turrets or an anti-armor missile, that was not going to change this fight. This should have been Hero Marine winning the fight on the right and the left and literally winning the game. Oh no, chat says always listen to Pig, put your Ravens on their own group. Now, there's a reason why he didn't, guys, and it's because he's got his army split on 2 sides, and in this scenario, it does get a little bit convoluted. Now, he actually has a separate Raven group, number 9, that's probably on a custom key, but then it just in the chaos of it, he was probably just tabbing a little bit. I mean, when you're microing 2 sides of the map, Vikings and tanks and Marines need to be used separately, Marines and Ravens need to be used separately. You do often end up manually controlling it. Oh, and you know what? I actually want to put in a change here, and I'm going to suggest this, though I doubt we'd get it. you shouldn't be able to stim again until the stim expires. So it should be something where when the Marine has stim on it, you can't press it again. Now, why? Because there's a lot of things that have been added like that in the game, right? Like, if you think about it, like High Templar don't auto, they got an auto attack, right? Warp gates are automatically control grouped for you. So Terran already has such hard mechanics and control. That's like one of those things which is such a no-brainer, thing. It's just gonna fix these edge cases where people slip over, and I think that would actually be really cool as a change. But man, what a heartbreaking thing this is for HEROMARINE to just triple stim there, because this literally loses him this game, guys. That's so nasty. And he did, remember, he's only got 2 factories. Now he actually, if he immediately started building tanks, maybe he could have, and he does, maybe he could have got enough tanks ready. But like, and he's got a lot of barracks as well. He's building 14 Marines. So he's gone up to 7 barracks, all with reactors, which is awesome. But like, this allows MARU to just grab that overwhelming tank count and get them pushed forward. Whereas even if HEROMARINE had 50 Marines instead of 25, he can just like engage this army in the open, which you can see he kind of tried to do at this point. After that, he's like, okay, F2, come in from all sides. And he's like, wait, I don't have nearly enough Marines. Like, all I can do is force you to siege, run away, force you to siege, run away. And then because Maru's in between his rallies, well, these guys don't have medevacs healing them, right? And he's got to manage units on 3 different sides, plus the tanks, and trying to get the Vikings back. And it's such a small map that if you mess up one fight like that, things can go wrong so quickly. So bloody well played by MARU to hang on. And the moment HEROMARINE slipped up with that uncharacteristic mistake, MARU pounced and shut that series down. I gotta say though, guys, HEROMARINE has blown us away with his play so far in this group, and he's not knocked out yet. He'll get to play against the winner of Ragnarok and Raynor, I believe it is, in the losers match. So let's see where that match goes. GG's.